there's a pattern in here. Not just any pattern, a vintage pattern. Stephanie Canada's favorite vintage pattern. I can do this! Collaborations with fellow YouTubers are a little bit tricky because we are spread all over the world, and travel is unfortunately not as quick and easy and constant as maybe we wish it was. So it often comes down to the two of you suffering through a similar challenge, and that way you can compare results at the end, and also you're just like comforted by the knowledge that somebody else is suffering with you from a distance. Allow me a bit of drama. We know how I feel about patterns. Y'all, I did not intend to go farmhand core today, and yet here we are. So Stephanie and I put our big brains together to try to figure out what would be a similar level of challenge for both of us so that we could collab from across the country. And we realized that we both have a favorite pattern. Hers, a vintage pattern, and mine, a stretch material pattern. We are feeling similarly challenged. Let the collaboration commence. The idea here is that we would both pack up our favorite pattern along with some surprise fabric that we chose for the other person and any notions needed, and then ship it off. So I sent Stephanie McCall7349. We all know it was that one. And she sent me this. I do not know what's in it yet, but she made a little video to introduce herself and talk about her packing choices, a video I will not get to see until editing. So let's let her tell us all about it.
Well, hello there. My name is Stephanie Canada, just like the country, and no, I don't live there. And wait a second. Oh, right! I'm on Charlie's channel. Hi everybody, my name's still Stephanie Canada. I don't have anything to save that. And this is our collaboration that we have decided to do where we're making our favorite patterns. So this is what I am sending her. Now for the pattern, I opted with my favorite, Simplicity 3932 in a bust 44. Now I did warn Charlie that this is going to be larger than her average patterns, and yes, I did troll eBay, Etsy, and all the other places for a copy of this in her size, and was no. It doesn't exist. Well, they do, but they were used a lot, and so there aren't that many of them. Either way, that's the type of stuff we talk about on my channel. But this lovely pattern I have hand traced from my bust 44, and Charlie will be sizing down to her size. And now while I have made this in many a modern and vintage fabric, it is time to challenge Charlie because she sent me some knit fabric to work with. Oh boy, I don't do that all that often, so I'm sending her vintage woven fabric from a giant estate sale that I picked up last October. And now while this did take a trip to my storage unit to get accomplished, I was able to pick out a couple winners to bring them home and look at them in better light. And after getting home, I decided that these are the winners. While neither of these are on their original bolts, so I don't actually know what the content is, best guess is it's a poly cotton woven. Nothing here is newer than 1981, so best bet is these are from the 70s. The only one that I think that's going to be a little bit of a challenge is going to be this yellow fabric right here because it is sheer and slightly softer and a looser weave than the stripe. But to counteract this, I'm also going to send Charlie with about 2 yards of this woven, slightly off-white cotton blend so that she can either back it or she could just use that as the contrast piece, but I want to give her some options along the way. And as far as notions go, this pattern is pretty simple. You just need a good belt buckle with some belting along the back and a dead stock metal zipper to go along the side. And with that, let's get this all wrapped up and sent to Charlie.
Now, she did email me the PDF instructions that go with this pattern because yes, please, let's save ink and paper. So I got a quick glance of what the dress actually looks like, but I did not allow myself more than that, and I am dying to see what fabric she chose for me. That was satisfying. Ooh. Oh, I love this. This is fun because it's got such unique shoulders. Are you focusing on that? It's like a bodice that I don't think I would ever, come up with on my own. So that's when using a pattern can be really nice. Okay, we were talking about like going with springy or summery colors. So I absolutely love this choice. The orangey yellow greens, that is so cute. And then a bit of yellow I think that would be for the contrast that you can do up here on the sleeves. And then we've also got some off-white, which I assume would be for some lining. Oh, belt buckle. Ooh. Oh, see, that's fun. I've never tried to make like a little belt or something. I'm so excited about this. It's gonna be so cute. Also, I'm simultaneously really nervous because we have a couple things in this pattern that like, I haven't done before, and I'm not sure how well they'll turn out. But again, that was the whole point, was to challenge each other, so woo! I'm gonna go pre-wash some fabric like a pro and pull all of these pattern pieces out, look through the instructions, get an idea of what the heck is going on. And now, some pattern instructions I'm hardcore not gonna follow. Press fabric before cutting. Unlikely. Follow instructions given with zipper. I didn't know zippers came with instructions. Under seam finish options, overcast separately. Who are we kidding? Baste garment together before the first fitting. Oh, hell no! I decided to pre-wash a whole bunch of fabrics for potential upcoming projects since I had a load going anyway, which gave me plenty of time to look over the pattern pieces, wander off to do other stuff, take this milkmaid outfit to the farmer's market, and be generally overwhelmed by the pattern instructions. With everything folded and put away and the fabric for this project unironed, told ya, it is at last time to figure this shiz out. Actually, I needed to move those pigtails up first. The higher the hair, the better my brain works, y'all. Okay, no more avoiding it. The time has come. We gotta do this thing. So one added challenge that both of us have, which I'm sure we will both handle in our own ways, is resizing the patterns. This one's a 44 and I need to take it down to like a 20, I think I am, according to these measurements. I've never actually resized a pattern, so we're gonna figure that out. I don't know that I need the white fabric for anything, so I think that might just be like bonus. The yellow fabric is pretty see-through, so theoretically I could line the sleeve things so that they're not see-through, and I actually might want to do that. Do I want to do that? I don't know if I want to do that, but that's a possibility. Also, I have to add pockets to this. That's a requirement around here, but it has a side zipper. which I'm so excited about inserting. So I've put side seam pockets on a skirt before when it had a side zipper as well. It's possible. It wasn't exactly fun. I could add welt pockets to this one, like maybe even on a diagonal. Those are the thoughts that I have in my brain right now. So theoretically, I could cut all of these pattern pieces out on the line that she drew, but I have to resize. So then I think I would just have to cut them out again. So I think it would be better if I used these to trace new patterns, maybe. I don't know. Yo, these are the skills that a bunch of you have. There are skills that come with using patterns, and like everyone tends to go like, oh wow, the self-drafting freehanding thing is so hard. And I'm like, no, this is harder to me. So kudos to all of you guys who know how to modify patterns, cause it is skills with lots of Z's at the end. What even is this? I'm on board. Yep, I know what's happening here, kinda. Sure. Okay, this is confusing enough for me that if I leave my mic on, I'm just gonna sit here talking about what I think I should do, and I'm never gonna actually do it. So we're dropping the mic in a different way than that usually means. In an I don't know what I'm doing way rather than a I said a cool thing way. Woo! First though, a snack, because food also makes my brain work better. I have absolutely no idea what the standard process is for resizing a pattern, so I just threw every little bit of logic my brain has in store at this thing, and, well, I don't know if it'll work. Theoretically, that could be right. Good lord. I decided I can pretty easily size down the skirts a bit from the pattern pieces Stephanie gave me, just like right onto the fabric, but the bodice pieces I retraced on paper after my best attempts at, you know, like making new lines. And at last, there was naught left to do but have another snack, make that face, shrug, and start cutting stuff out. You're so nice. The saving grace here is that Stephanie has provided me with plenty of extra fabric, so I have enough left over of the stripes to recut some pieces if need be. Hopefully need will not be, but you know, it makes me feel better. Plenty left. Same with the yellow stuff, plenty left, and I decided that I would line those shoulder pieces with the off-white material just to give them more structure. Then I just had to figure out some welt pockets with the stripes, and the cutting out is done. Also, my brain is done. For today at least. We shall recharge and restart tomorrow. Would it be absolutely insane for me to not look at the pattern instructions again? They were confusing, they were hard to read, and I kinda don't want to. Light. So what if instead I just, you know, wing it? I know what the final thing is supposed to look like. How bad could it be? How bad could it be? That's the front. That's the back. Those go together. Cool. Sure. Seems kind of fine. Okay, so theoretically, this is it. This is the shoulder piece. It looks right-ish. But here's my problem also. I automatically want to do French seams on this because it's all woven fabric. I don't have a serger. I'm definitely not overcast stitching all of them by hand. If you're making something that might not fit you, making it with French seams is extra risky. I don't know. Interesting. I mean, I could pink them. I don't mind pinking. We're diving in. Wish me luck. Okay, we've definitely got problems. If I kind of evenly put my back panel on the mannequin, which this is not my size, it's a little bit smaller than me, but okay. I think I resized the front and back bodice correctly, or close enough. But I think I went massively wrong with the shoulders, which kind of makes sense because like, just because your waist is bigger or smaller does not necessarily mean that the like length or height of your shoulders are smaller in the exact same ratio, right? So you can see my shoulder seam is running right here, which is like 2 inches at least to the back of where it should be, which means that I can't even get the front to come around like it should because it's being pulled back. I'm also just like lightly confused about the gathering right here because like, that's not the way our busts are shaped. If you gather here, then the gathers want to go like this, but the fullness of my bust is here. The gathering just feels like it's not doing what it's supposed to do. This is going so well. Let me rip this one off first. Okay, you can kind of see what I mean now. Like, here's where the gathering is, but the bust is right here. So then you're just ending up with all of this looseness where there is no bust. Like, all of this needs to go away. In my head, at least. It almost feels like this is supposed to be more like this. Because now the gathering goes over the bust. I'm confused. Okay, I gotta just go, I don't know, play around with this a lot. I was getting nowhere real fast with the mannequin because not only is she not exactly my size, but she's also stiff as a board. I just don't get it. Rigor mortis has set in. So instead, I started pinning all the pieces to the dress I was wearing, the raglan sleeves being a very helpful guideline, and basically had to adjust the amount of gathering and the height of the neckline in the back. But in the end, I was able to get my original shoulder pieces on there to the best of my abilities, and like, it's not perfect. It's still a little small in the armhole region and a little wonky in, all the regions, but you know what? I think it'll work. Okay, so that broke me a little bit. I lost a few brain cells, but I finished one side and it's good enough. It's really not bad. I'm gonna say great job to myself. Now I have to do all of that again. Whole thing on the other side. Theoretically, it will be much faster because I know what to do now. Theoretically. Let's do it. We can do it. We can do it. It's happening. It is currently looking like side number 2 is gonna be a lot cleaner than side number 1. Gee, I wonder why. Yeah, sure, right? Sure. Sure. We now get to work on the skirt. Thank heavens, something I'm actually like used to doing, right? Let's start with welt pockets that I've only ever done once. I'm gonna run out of thread. You know what? I will put that off slightly by sewing the back panels together. So easy, so delightful. I love it. Huzzah for those quick and easy straight seams. That is what I needed at this moment. Welt pockets are actually way easier to sew than it seems, even if you completely avoid doing any calculations ahead of time and just mash it together while at the machine. Ultimately though, my brain wasn't really recovering from the first 6 hours of mushy melting, so once I got the first pocket to a decent stopping place, I decided to call it quits for the night and do a bit of, anything else. Refreshed, comfy, and determined not to be bested by this pattern, I returned to this dress for pocket number 2, and just like that, 'twas done! Well, if you consider like an hour of work to be just like that. Then of course I realized that I hadn't gathered the front panel enough and it's too big, so let's grab the seam ripper, yay! Did manage to eventually get the skirt attached to the bodice though, and then the dreaded zipper. It does indeed include full instructions for how to insert a zipper. Do modern zippers still have this? I don't think I've ever paid attention. I've just always ripped it off the thing and tossed it. Why am I standing like this? Okay, so there's that method of putting in a zipper that I've never tried before, but I've been told about multiple times, where you basically go ahead and sew the seam closed, and then you sew the zipper in, and then seam rip the seam back open. Yeah, I've never done it before, but every time somebody tells me about it, I'm like, yeah, that seems pretty logical, so I think now is my chance, and I'm gonna try that. So that did not go very well. I have a zipper installed, and that's about the best I can hope for. But yeah, I totally failed on the method. But now comes the delightful part where I have to see if this actually fits me, because it very well might not. It fits. Does it fit incredibly well? No, but it does fit. So you know what? I'm gonna throw a hem on this, and then let's take a look. The belt! I made a note for myself so that I wouldn't forget to make the belt, because there's no pattern piece for it, and I didn't cut it out with the rest of the pieces. But then, of course, I still forgot. Almost forgot. I remembered. So, turns out the pattern instructions only lightly touched on how to make a belt, and it was with the assumption that you have the belt buckle without the little prong thing, which, was not helpful. Unhelpful. I ended up watching Gwen's belt making tutorial and then mostly followed her instructions. I cheaped out when it came to punching holes and used the crocodile, but I did at least hand finish them, so I dunno, I'll award myself 3 points, completely randomly. Now let's take a look at the final product. Well, y'all, we made it. I do in fact have a finished dress, so success on that level. Before I go into all my final thoughts on it, let's catch up with Stephanie and see how she did with McCall's 7349 and, compare the challenges we had here.
Knits are interesting.
Yeah.
Knits are interesting.
I love that that's your response, because mine's gonna be, vintage patterns are interesting.
Oh, I'm so sorry, everything just moved on my end. I have the same thoughts about modern patterns.
But I will say I liked the vintage fabric. I didn't have any trouble with that.
Yay!
It was all good. Love your fabric choices, first of all. It's so summery. And I love like the citrus colors, so it was really
That
perfect.
was the goal. I was like, I feel like you're a good summer stripe, and I was like, I've also like on your channel, like stripes seem to be a thing, so I was trying to like lean into the
I have a lot
stripe.
of stripes. The vintage pattern.
Yeah.
'Twas interesting. I've done a vintage reproduction pattern before. In both times, I found that the cuts of the vintage clothing feels really foreign to me, because I'm so used to making comfy knit dresses that just completely like mold to my form and I can move however. So for this, like, just the fact that in the back you have to have extra space, because it's woven. If this fits to you perfectly tightly, you won't be able to move. But then, like, I was trying it on and I was like, why is there gaping? Like, I was so confused by a lot of the fit things.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to working with things that are either knit and formed to you, or like, I just tend to make things like really loose and baggy and then lace them up so they're tighter.
Yeah.
So yeah, that, especially when I was resizing, I was always like, wait, did I just resize this wrong? Or is this how it's supposed to be?
Oh no.
I think it turned out pretty decently in the end.
It looks cute. Oh, yes. Oh, the belt.
It's not too bad.
Yes.
The belt, okay, I completely forgot to make the belt, but it was so much fun to make. That was really enjoyable. I've never made a belt before, so it was like a
Yeah.
nice little, now I'm moving.
I enjoy a belt when I remember to do them, which, be honest, not often. I have the exact opposite of you as far as like the whole fit thing. I am so used to patterns where I have to leave ease and I have to leave a little bit of room so that I don't actually pretend like I'm the Incredible Hulk and out of a dress. That caused me, I think, I don't know what I did here. I don't know what happened. The sleeves go with God. I have no idea what I did. Oh my goodness. Well, this was so much fun.
It was. It was a
a
very
really
good
good challenge.
Jinx. We're both like, yes, yes, good challenge.
Excellent challenge.
We both had so much fun. But I love how completely opposite it is, that like I find that pattern so easy to make and you find this pattern so great to make, and yet we both struggled so hard with the other person's. I know, it really goes to show that like every sewist is so different and you really find what works for you, and you kind of immediately forget that it doesn't necessarily work for everyone else.
Well, what do you mean you don't know how that works? It just goes together like this, this, and this. I've made it 17 times. And it's like, cool. I do the exact opposite.
Yeah. Not quite for me.
Right?
It was nice to be pushed out of our comfort zones.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so pros and cons. The dress is very light and breezy. Like the fabric itself is quite delightful to wear in the warmer months. And considering I have a great love of giant skirts and lots of swoosh, light is not always a key factor in the clothing that I make. That being said, I usually prefer to take the weight so that I can also have the swoosh. Like this skirt is just a little sad. When you twirl in it, not much at all happens. I made the skirt that the pattern actually came with, and like it would be better if I had just put a circle skirt on it. My welt pockets ended up a little bit wonky, not really from the pocket itself, but because the skirt was being gathered on top of that. So, not sure I would recommend doing welt pockets on this one. I don't think they really blend super well with gathering. I did really enjoy making the belt. It's not like super good, but for my first try, I thought it turned out pretty well, and it was way easier than I expected. And then I really like the stripes, and I love this triangulation of the stripes in the front. I think that's such a cool concept. This whole gathering thing, it's not as bad as I thought it would be in fit. I think it's kind of okay. I just still don't quite get it. You're always gonna end up with this design having this extra material above your boob, and I don't really get that because your boob is down here. If you're gathering something, you usually want the poof of the gather to go over your boob rather than just like be sticking out in front of it or on top of it. But I do think this whole like raglan cap sleeve thing is really cute. It makes it look like you're wearing a shrug over a sundress, but then it's all part of it. Ultimately, my construction is fairly poor, but I did my best. I learned a lot, and it's nice to be pushed out of your comfort zone in this way. Like, I still consider myself very much a beginner sewist, but at this point, having now sewn garments for like 2.5-ish years, I am very much aware of what I'm going to be decent at and what I'm not gonna be decent at. I'm constantly challenging myself, but you do kind of figure out how to challenge yourself without like going outside of your comfort zone too much. And I think it's nice to be given the opportunity to challenge yourself in a way that you would not normally do. Yeah? Anyway, that's why collaborations are so fun. You end up seeing things from other people's perspectives and trying methods that you wouldn't normally do. And I am glad I was able to at least turn out a final product. And I'm gonna go now, because I have some cherries that I need to turn into a cherry pie. Huzzah! I decided to pre-wash a whole bunch of fabrics for potential ash slobbered. No. Whoops. Okay. Ooh, we're good. Thanks, cantaloupe.
Eat a 2-week-old unrefrigerated pie.